Hello and welcome to another class feature video. This is The Guardian, a guide by Fabula Points, me. So, as usual, jumping straight into it, The Guardian. This is your paladin kind of soldier kind of class. Your typical sword and board where you kind of like defend your allies and it's like your defensive class. But before we jump straight into the Guardian's abilities and things, there's one thing I do want to point out. So in our last feature video, we had the Fury, and the Fury had 20 points, 20 skill points that you could allocate to them, which meant that if you had two different characters who took Fury, you could take completely different skills to each other. The Guardian doesn't have that many. We've only got 13 to choose from. So we need to approach the Guardian by not thinking about what skills we want, by thinking about what skills we don't want, if that makes sense, because we are limited in the options that we've got. So let's just go straight in then, knowing that. So the free benefits are we permanently increase your maximum hit points by 5, which is great. Everyone loves hit points. And we gain the ability to equip martial armor and martial shields, which makes sense because we're our armored shield bearing class. So skill 1, bodyguard. If you perform the guard action and choose to provide cover to another creature, that creature gains resistance to all damage types until the start of your next turn. This sounds good on paper. I don't believe this is that good. If we go to guard, I'll tell you why. So when you guard, you gain the following benefits until the start of your next turn. You gain resistance to all damage types regardless of their source. When you perform an opposed check against another creature in a scene, you have a +2 to your result. And this is the one that synergizes with here. You can choose to cover another creature. If you do, that creature cannot be targeted by melee attacks until the start of your next turn. So this is a skill that we have to spend a skill point from a level up to get, which gives the other creature resistance to all damage and they can't be targeted by melee attacks. And if you remember, um, enemies in Fabula Ultima attack at random, so we don't always know whether they'll actually hit the target of your cover, and if they do a melee attack, they wouldn't be able to be hit anyway, so you've kind of wasted that part of the skill. So it's only if you're being hit by like multi-hitting magic attacks or ranged attacks that this could be. And again, with the random allocation of hits, there's a good chance that this will be just completely wasted. So I personally don't like it that much. Obviously, if you want to have this build and you kind of want your character to be the stalwart defender who jumps in the way of everyone, then absolutely, go for it. It's just I'm trying to be brutal with what skills I would and wouldn't take so that we can work out what out of the 13 we need. So next one, defensive mastery. There's 5 skill points we can allocate to this. As long as you have a shield or martial armor equipped, all damage you suffer is reduced by skill level, applied before damage affinities. So, this is quite good. Gaining less damage is obviously great. You're going to be the kind of character that's probably going to have massive defenses anyway. So chances are when things get through your defenses will be quite slim. So having this, it doesn't hurt, but if you're going for like the highest defense you possibly can, then this one slightly doesn't make sense. But also, if you think about this from a different perspective, like if you are a character who doesn't know what to do with their last few levels, you can dip into Guardian, get defensive mastery, and boost you and take less damage forever. Like it's not a bad shout, but I don't know whether I'd want to put 5 points into this. But anyway, dual shield bearer. This one, it's very easy to decide whether you want this or not. So the way it works is you may now equip a shield in your main hand slot. As long as you have 2 shields equipped, you gain the benefits of both items and may treat them as the following combined two-handed melee brawling weapon. So it's twin shields, which does might plus might for accuracy, high roll plus 5 physical, and it deals extra damage equal to your skill level in defensive mastery above. So if you decide you want to be the twin shield bearer, you absolutely need to pump defensive mastery in order to get that extra damage up as well. But if you don't want twin shields, then obviously this is a quite easy one to ignore. But the main thing I wanted to highlight here is it says as long as you have 2 shields equipped, you gain the benefits of both items, which means if you have 2 shields that have +2 defense, you now have +4 defense. So you can use this to crank up your defenses like crazy. which, depending on your playstyle, could be very beneficial. But not everyone wants to be locked into what weapon you're choosing. The next one, Fortress, permanently increase your max hit points by skill level times 3. So this I quite like. Um, you got 5 skill levels to choose here. Like everyone likes hit points. Yeah, there's not really much to say. It's a pretty solid choice. It's not flashy in any way. And then the last one, Protect. When another creature is threatened by an attack spell or other danger, you may take their place. Any checks that are part of that danger will be performed against you. You may declare the use of the skill before or after the check has been made. So, for example, someone can do like, say they're trying to damage someone, and they roll like a 10, say, and 10 will bypass your elementalist's defenses. You can choose to protect instead, and then it'll apply to yours, and it could completely negate the damage instead, which can be very handy. If the danger already affected you, it affects you twice. So that's like if it hits multiple people and you resolve both instances separately. You also cannot protect multiple creatures from the same danger. If you use the skill during a conflict, you cannot use it again until the start of your next turn. So this is like I don't want to mention other games as often as I can, but this is like a reaction in D&D where you can jump in to react to danger, I guess. Um, I like it. Especially if you're going Guardian, you're probably going to have the highest defenses and probably the highest health as well, because you're going to want to spec that way. So this is a great way where if, say, your healer is about to be hit by something nasty and you need your healer, you can jump in instead, and then the healer can heal you back if needed. So I really like Protect, but it's up to you guys what you do and how you allocate the points. Personally, if I was going for wanting to be a Guardian main, like if my character was revolved around being Guardian rather than just dipping into it, I'd want to go dual Shield Breaker, pump Defensive Mastery. I'd ignore Bodyguard, I'd take Protect, and then the rest would go in Fortress. But skills aren't the only things we need to take into account. There's also heroic skills. So let's have a look at the first one. I need to go in the other book. And we need to go. Rampart is the first one. So during the first round of each conflict scene, you have resistance to all damage types and cannot suffer status effects. So you do not recover from a pre-existing status effect. However, these benefits only last until the end of the first round. So this one, I really don't like. Like, I get why it's there, but like I said before, damage is randomized as to who enemies will attack you, so they may not hit you. And also the guard action does this as an action, so it's up to you whether you want a heroic skill that only lets you do this on the very first round, whereas instead you could do guard action if you really need it and take a different heroic skill. So being honest, I don't see me ever taking this. Yeah, so the next one is Unbreakable. Once per scene, when you're about to be reduced to 0 hit points, you may instead choose to withstand the pain and be reduced exactly 1 hit point. So I like this. This is a free, like, get out of jail. Oh no, I'm dead. No, I'm not. Kind of skill. It's not flashy at all, but it's what you want from your guardian. You want to be able to survive, and surviving a hit that would otherwise kill you. You may be taken out by the next bad guy on his next turn because you only got 1 health. Like, you may not, but it keeps you in the fight longer, which means you're more likely to be able to win the fight. So those are the 2 from the core book. There's also one from the Atlas book. It's a Hoplite. I keep wanting to call it Hoptile. It's just a me thing. Shouldn't have said that. But as long as you have a weapon equipped in your main hand slot and a shield equipped in your offhand slot, your attacks with that weapon deal 5 extra damage and you gain a +1 bonus to defense, which is pretty cool. But this skill cannot be combined with custom weapons with a defense boost customization, which is fair, nor with a dual shield bearer skill. So this only works if you have a weapon and a shield, not 2 shields, which is really frustrating because, like, if you want to be like the Twin Shields Guardian, this is useless. And it's a pretty iconic kind of build, running in heavy armor, 2 giant shields. So like if you are, like, say, if you dip into Guardian and you want to use a shield and a weapon, this is great. It's free damage and an extra defense, isn't bad. So I'd probably take this more often than not, but if I had dual shield breaker, then I would take Unbreakable instead. So yeah, not many elite skills, not many skills. Slightly disappointing to be honest. Um, yeah, that's the Guardian. Um, I personally think it's a great class to dip into from another class. It's not as strong to kind of main as it. So like say for example, if you wanted to main as like an elementalist or like your dark blade or anything like that, you've got like skills and abilities that really make the class your own. Like the bodyguard, all you can do, or the guardian even, all you can do is guard someone slightly better, have higher defenses, higher health, or jump in someone's way once per round. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I never know how to end videos. I need like a way to sign out. But thank you all very much for listening, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.